Your time is limited, and the truth is, every second you waste will never return. One day, you'll wake up and realize years have vanished, opportunities slipped, and the version of yourself you dreamed of becoming never showed up because you hesitated. Life isn't waiting for you. Nobody is coming to save you, nobody cares about your excuses, and nobody will hand you the success you crave. The clock is ticking, and while you scroll, doubt, or procrastinate, someone else is grinding, building, and seizing everything you ever wanted. You need to feel the weight of this moment because tomorrow isn't promised. And mediocrity isn't your destiny unless you choose it. Pain, struggle, and sacrifice are the price of greatness. And if you can't pay, then stay broke, stay forgotten, stay ordinary. But if you refuse to waste another minute, if you decide that your time is too precious to throw away, then stand up, fight back, and demand more from yourself. You're not unlucky, you're uncommitted. The life you want is waiting, but the question is, how much longer will you wait? Time is the most valuable currency you will ever own, and unlike money, once it is gone, you can never earn it back. Every second of your life is slipping away whether you act on it or not. The brutal truth is that most people live as if they have unlimited time. They waste hours, days, even years, thinking there will always be another chance, another tomorrow, another opportunity. But tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And the clock doesn't stop for anyone. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose possessions and replace them. But the time you waste scrolling, doubting, procrastinating, or waiting for the perfect moment is gone forever. You don't realize the value of it until it's too late. Until you look back and see the doors you never opened because you didn't move. Time is life, and the way you spend it reveals what your future will look like. The saddest thing is most people live as prisoners of comfort. They wake up, check their phone, complain, go through the same routine, and let their days fade into nothingness. They say someday like it's a real day on the calendar, but someday is a lie, someday is a thief. And while you're living in the illusion of someday, time is silently robbing you. If you could see the countdown clock of your life, if you could see the exact number of days left, you wouldn't waste a single second. You'd stop being casual about your dreams. You'd stop tolerating mediocrity. You'd stop surrounding yourself with people who don't push you forward. You would finally understand that every tick of the clock is a decision, and every decision compounds into the life you're either proud of or ashamed of. The truth is, people act like time is cheap because they don't feel its cost immediately. Waste $1 and you notice. Waste an hour and it doesn't sting. Until years later when the compounding effect of wasted time shows itself in failure, regret, and mediocrity. That's why the rich aren't careless with their time. That's why champions, leaders, and high achievers treat every second like gold. They understand that time is not just currency. It's the only currency. You cannot outwork death. You cannot bargain with the clock. And when it runs out, no amount of tears, money, or prayers can bring it back. You must start treating your time as the most precious asset you have. Every hour you waste is an hour stolen from your future self. When you choose laziness over discipline, distraction over focus, excuses over action, you are robbing yourself. You're trading your dreams for comfort. And the sick truth is most people willingly make that trade because it's easier. They don't realize the cost until they're older, until regret has already chained itself to their soul. But by then, it's too late. The opportunity to build the life you wanted has expired. Think about it. The person you want to be, the stronger, richer, wiser, more powerful version of yourself depends entirely on what you do with your time today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when the time is right, today. Every choice matters. If you choose discipline, you get stronger. If you choose laziness, you get weaker. If you choose growth, your future expands. If you choose distraction, your future shrinks. Every second is an investment, and the return you get depends on how you spend it. Time is also the great equalizer. Everyone is given the same 24 hours. Billionaires, athletes, leaders, and legends don't have more time than you. They just value it more. They don't waste it. They cut out distractions. They sacrifice. They live with urgency because they understand the stakes. While most people are wasting hours on meaningless entertainment, the relentless ones are stacking hours of discipline, focus, and progress. And when years pass, the difference between the two is massive. One has built a life worth living. The other is left wondering where the years went. If you want to change your life, stop saying, I don't have time. You do. You're just wasting it on things that don't matter. Look at the hours you'll spend scrolling, gossiping, complaining, or indulging in mindless comfort. Then ask yourself, is that worth trading for your dreams? Is that worth sacrificing your potential? Because that is the deal you're making. Your future for your comfort, your destiny for your distractions. You don't get to control how much time you have left, but you do control how you spend it. That's power. That's freedom. That's the difference between success and regret. If you truly understood how limited your time is, you wouldn't waste a second. You'd cut out toxic people. You'd eliminate distractions. You'd grind harder than you ever thought possible. You'd stop tolerating mediocrity. from yourself and demand excellence, you'd stop living like you'll live forever and start living like today could be your last. And maybe that's the real mindset you need. Imagine today is the final day you'll ever have. What would you do? Who would you become? How much effort would you give? If you lived with that urgency every single day, your life would transform. The gap between where you are and where you want to be would close faster than you ever believe. Because time is not something you have, it's something you're using right now in this very second. So the question isn't whether you have enough time. The question is, are you wasting it? Are you investing it? Are you letting it slip away minute by minute while convincing yourself you'll start tomorrow? Remember this, tomorrow is a lie. Time is limited. Spend it with intention. Spend it with urgency. Spend it building the life that will make you proud when the clock finally runs out. Excuses destroy progress. And if you don't learn to take accountability for your life, you will remain stuck exactly where you are right now. Every excuse you make is a chain that holds you back from your potential. People love excuses because they feel safe. They make failure sound reasonable. They disguise laziness as logic. But excuses don't move you forward. They lock you into the same cycle of mediocrity. You can have excuses or you can have results. You cannot have both. Accountability is the key that breaks you free, because when you stop blaming the world, your parents, your circumstances, your boss, the economy, or luck, you finally put the responsibility on the one person who can change everything, you. Excuses are poison. They sound innocent. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I wasn't born into the right family. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. I've tried before and failed. Every single one of these is a lie you tell yourself so you can avoid discomfort. Excuses are self-sabotage dressed up as rational thought. They feel true in the moment, but they guarantee regret later. Because while you're explaining why you can't, someone else with less time, less money, fewer connections, and more problems is out there proving that it can be done. The difference isn't their circumstances, it's their refusal to accept excuses. Taking accountability is brutal because it strips away all illusions. It forces you to admit that your failures are your responsibility, not anyone else's. That your health, your wealth, your happiness, your relationships, your discipline, all of it comes back to you. That's a hard truth to face because it's easier to believe the world is unfair. But here's the reality. The world doesn't care about fairness. Life doesn't reward excuses. Life rewards action, discipline, persistence, and accountability. You either own your life or you let your life own you. The reason most people never rise is because they hide behind excuses their entire lives. They convince themselves they're waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, the right opportunity. But that time never comes. Life will never be perfect. The people who win are the ones who act despite imperfection. They take accountability for their mistakes. They learn, they adapt, they keep moving. Accountability creates growth because once you accept that your actions alone create your results, you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You stop looking outward and start looking inward. That shift is where real power comes from. Look at any area of your life where you're failing is not because of bad luck. It's because of bad decisions. If you're broke, it's because of the way you've managed your money, the way you've spent your time, the risks you haven't taken, the discipline you haven't developed. If you're unhealthy, it's because of the food you've chosen, the workouts you've skipped, the habits you've ignored. If your relationships are toxic, it's because of the standards you've set and the boundaries you haven't enforced. Everything comes back to you. And that's not something to be depressed about. It's something to be empowered by. Because if it's your fault, then you can fix it. If it's someone else's fault, you're helpless. Accountability is the ultimate power because it puts you back in control. Excuses destroy progress because they make failure permanent. When you blame something external, you remove the chance to grow. You tell yourself the situation is out of your hands, so you don't try. Accountability, on the other hand, guarantees progress because it forces you to adjust. When you admit, I failed because I didn't work hard enough, you immediately know what to do next. Work harder. When you admit, I wasted time because I was distracted, you know what to do. Eliminate distractions. Excuses stop the process. Accountability fuels it. You have to understand that nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is going to care about your excuses. The world doesn't owe you sympathy, and life doesn't hand out rewards for victimhood. People respect results, not stories. The man who says, I could have been successful if things were different, is invisible. The man who says, I made mistakes, but I fixed them and conquered anyway, is unstoppable. Accountability builds character, discipline and respect. Excuses build weakness, dependency, and regret. Every time you give an excuse, you reinforce a habit of failure. Every time you take accountability, you reinforce a habit of growth. It's a choice you make daily. Do you blame the traffic for being late, or do you admit you should have left earlier? Do you blame your genetics for being overweight, or do you accept responsibility for what you put in your mouth? Do you blame the economy for being broke, or do you admit you haven't learned how to create value? The way you answer these questions will determine the life you live. Accountability is painful, but pain is the path to strength. Excuses are comfortable, but comfort is the path to weakness. You must decide which pain you want, the pain of discipline and growth, or the pain of regret and mediocrity. Both are hard, but one leads to freedom, while the other leads to chains. At the end of your life, nobody will care about the excuses you gave. Nobody will stand at your funeral and say, he didn't achieve his dreams, but at least he had good reasons. They will only remember what you did or didn't do, the results you left behind, the legacy you built, or the one you wasted. Excuses will not save you from that reality. Accountability is the only path to respect, success, and fulfillment. So stop lying to yourself. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Stop blaming people, situations, or fate. Own your failures, own your flaws, own your story, and then rewrite it through action. The truth will set you free, but only if you're strong enough to face it. Excuses destroy progress. Take accountability, and you'll finally realize you were always in control. Success demands sacrifice and discipline, and that is the reason most people never taste it. Everyone wants the rewards, the lifestyle, the recognition, the freedom, but very few are willing to endure the cost. Success doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It is born in the fire of sacrifice and carved through relentless discipline. You cannot have greatness without giving something up. You cannot rise while clinging to the very habits that keep you weak. The truth is simple. If you want what others don't have, you must do what others refuse to do. And that means long nights, early mornings, rejection, pain, and a constant war with your comfort zone. Sacrifice is not just about losing things. It's about exchanging them. You sacrifice the short term for the long term. You give up the pleasure of today for the power of tomorrow. You stop wasting nights on meaningless parties, and instead you invest those hours into building yourself. You trade video games, endless scrolling, and gossip for work, study, training, and discipline. While others are chasing distraction, you are chasing purpose. Sacrifice is the price of entry for a future worth living. If you are unwilling to sacrifice, you are unworthy of success. Discipline is what makes sacrifice possible. Anybody can work hard for a day, but discipline is the decision to work hard every day regardless of how you feel. Feelings are irrelevant. Winners act when they're tired, when they're uninspired, when the conditions aren't perfect. Losers wait until they feel ready, and that day never comes. Discipline is waking up when the alarm rings, hitting the gym when your body wants to stay in bed, grinding on your business when your mind wants to relax. Discipline is the refusal to negotiate with weakness. It's the iron promise you make to yourself. I will not quit. I will not be average. I will not betray my own potential. Sacrifice and discipline go hand in hand. Sacrifice takes away the distractions. Discipline builds the habits. Without sacrifice, you waste energy on things that don't matter. Without discipline, you lack consistency in the things that do. Together, they form the foundation of success. Look at any great athlete, entrepreneur, or leader. Behind their achievements are years of sacrifice and discipline. They gave up comfort, they gave up instant gratification, they gave up laziness, excuses, and fear. They disciplined their mind and body to keep moving when everything in them screamed to stop. That's why they stand on stages, hold trophies, build empires, while the undisciplined stay spectators, clapping for the ones who had the courage to sacrifice. The reason so many fail is because they want success on sale. They want the discount version, the shortcut, the easy path. But success has no shortcuts. It is expensive, and the currency is sacrifice and discipline. If you are not willing to pay, you do not get to complain about the life you live. You don't deserve the rewards of discipline if you choose the comfort of excuses. You don't deserve the respect of others if you can't respect your own commitments. Success doesn't come to the weak, it comes to the relentless. Discipline is freedom disguised as restriction. The disciplined man seems strict, maybe even extreme, but his life is his own. He controls his habits, his body, his mind. The undisciplined man, however, is a slave to laziness, to cravings, to emotions. He does what feels good now and pays for it later. The disciplined man sacrifices now and reaps later. That's why one is respected and the other is forgotten. You must choose which man you will be. Sacrifice also means cutting out people. If the people around you are not aligned with your vision, you must let them go. Success demands that you surround yourself with energy, ambition, and drive, not with anchors pulling you down. If your friends encourage laziness, distraction, mediocrity, then you must sacrifice those friendships. It will hurt, but success is not about pleasing everyone. It's about building the life you want, not the life they settle for. You must also sacrifice comfort. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Comfort whispers Stay in bed. Take it easy. You've done enough. But success lives in discomfort. It lives in sweat, in pain, in risk. It lives in the extra rep when your muscles burn, the extra hour of study when your brain is tired, the extra sales call when your pride is bruised. Success is hidden behind the walls of discomfort, and only sacrifice and discipline can break through. Most people underestimate how much sacrifice success truly requires. They think they can keep their bad habits and still rise. They think they can balance laziness and ambition, but success is all-consuming. It doesn't demand some of you. It demands all of you. Until you are willing to sacrifice your excuses, your distractions, your fear, and your comfort, success will remain out of reach. Ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? Because that is the true measure of how badly you want it. Everyone says they want success, few are willing to pay for it. That's why the world is filled with dreamers who never act and a few disciplined killers who take everything. The question is, which side are you on? In the end, the equation is simple. Sacrifice plus discipline equals success. Sacrifice without discipline is wasted effort. Discipline without sacrifice is empty repetition. But together, they create unstoppable momentum. If you learn to embrace sacrifice and discipline, you will rise above the masses. If you refuse, you will sink with them. So burn this truth into your mind. Success will not come easy. It will not come quickly. It will not come without cost. You must bleed for it, sweat for it, sacrifice for it, and discipline yourself for it. But when it comes, when you look back and see the empire you've built, the body you've forged, the respect you've earned, you will know it was worth every sacrifice, every disciplined day, every uncomfortable moment. Success demands sacrifice and discipline, and if you give it both, success will be yours. Nobody will save you. You must act. This is the harshest and most liberating truth you will ever hear. Too many people live their entire lives waiting for a rescue, waiting for a miracle, waiting for someone else to change their circumstances. They dream that a friend, a mentor, a boss, or even luck will appear out of nowhere and drag them out of mediocrity. But nobody is coming. Nobody is obligated to hand you a better life. Nobody will fight your battles. Nobody will chase your goals for you. Nobody will build your dreams. The world doesn't hand out success. It rewards action, and that action has to come from you. The sooner you accept this, the sooner your life will change. Think about it. Every excuse you make, every time you blame someone else, every time you wait for circumstances to improve, you're giving away your power. You're acting like a victim, hoping someone will save you. Victims never win. Victims are forgotten. The world respects those who take ownership, those who refuse to wait, those who step forward and act, even when the odds are against them. Life is not a movie. There is no hero coming to pull you out of your pain. If you want out, you must become your own hero. You must step up and take action when no one is watching, when no one believes in you, when no one cares. That's the test, and most people fail because they're addicted to the illusion of rescue. Waiting kills dreams. Every moment you sit still, life moves without you. Opportunities pass by, time slips away, competitors rise, and you fall further behind. The only way to bridge that gap is through action. Even if you stumble, even if you make mistakes, action moves you forward. Waiting keeps you stuck. If you want to become stronger, you don't wait for motivation. You train. If you want money, you don't wait for luck. You learn, you grind, you build. If you want respect, you don't wait for people to give it. You earn it through results. Nothing is coming to you without your action. The people who succeed are not the ones who had someone hold their hand. They are the ones who realized early that they were alone in this fight. They didn't wait for a mentor. They became their own mentor. They didn't wait for approval. They acted without it. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They created progress in chaos. Success belongs to the bold, not the waiting. The truth is, most people are afraid to act because action exposes weakness. If you try, you might fail. If you stay still, you can pretend success was stolen from you. But that is cowardice. You'd rather protect your ego than chase your destiny. And that's why most people die full of regret. They never acted. They never risked. They never discovered who they could have been. They spent their lives blaming and waiting, hoping someone else would give them what only they could earn. When you finally accept that nobody is coming to save you, you gain freedom, because then you realize it's all on you. And that means you hold the power. If your life is a mess, you can fix it. If your bank account is empty, you can change it. If your body is weak, you can rebuild it. You don't need permission. You don't need saving. You need action. Nobody cares about your excuses, your story, or your pain. People care about what you do. The world rewards action takers. It punishes those who wait. And yes, it's unfair. Yes, life is hard. But complaining won't change that. Waiting won't change that. Action will. Every excuse you use to avoid action keeps you chained. Every excuse reinforces weakness. Action breaks those chains. The moment you stop waiting and start moving, even in small steps, you shift the direction of your life. Action is momentum, and momentum is power. You must become relentless in your own rescue. Stop expecting others to provide for you, to validate you, to push you. Nobody is responsible for your dreams but you. If you want freedom, build it. If you want wealth, create it. If you want respect, earn it. Nobody's going to hand it over. You have to fight for it, sweat for it, bleed for it. And when you do, when you finally achieve it, the victory will be yours and yours alone. That's the beauty of it. Self-rescue creates pride. Understand this. People may support you, people may encourage you, but nobody can live your life for you. Nobody can do your push-ups. Nobody can read your books. Nobody can take your risks. At the end of the day, it's your hand that must move the chess pieces of your life. If you sit still, the game passes you by. The difference between winners and losers is simple. Losers wait. Winners act. Winners take responsibility. Winners stop asking who will save me and start declaring, I will save myself. That mindset shift is the line between mediocrity and greatness. Once you accept that it's all on you, excuses die and action begins. And action, consistent and relentlessness, is what transforms ordinary people into legends. So stop waiting for the miracle. Stop hoping for rescue. Stop thinking someone owes you success. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody is coming. If you want a different life, get up and act. Act now, act boldly, act without hesitation, because the world does not wait. And the clock does not pause. Your life is slipping away. The only question that matters is this: will you act or will you die waiting? Greatness belongs only to the relentless, not to the talented, not to the lucky, not to the ones who had the perfect start, but to those who refuse to quit no matter what stands in their way. Relentlessness is the defining trait of every champion, every leader, every legend. It's the unbreakable spirit that keeps moving forward when everything in life screams to stop. It's the fire that burns long after motivation dies. The world doesn't reward the ones who almost tried, who almost succeeded, who gave up when it got hard. The world remembers the relentless, because they are the ones who push through the storms, who endure the pain, who refuse to back down even when their body breaks and their mind doubts. Relentlessness is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Everyone loves the idea of greatness, but very few are relentless enough to claim it. Most people quit the moment things get difficult. They want results without sacrifice, victory without struggle, glory without grind. The relentless know better. They understand that greatness demands a price, and they are willing to pay it every single day. They don't stop when they're tired. They stop when the mission is complete. They don't take rejection as a sign to quit. They take it as fuel to push harder. Where others see obstacles, the relentless see challenges to be conquered. That's why greatness belongs to them and only them, because they're the ones who endure long enough to claim it. Relentlessness means showing up when nobody is clapping for you, when nobody believes in you, when nobody even notices. It's easy to be motivated when the crowd is cheering, but true greatness is built in the dark, when it's just you, your willpower, and your vision. That's where the relentless separate themselves from the rest. They don't need validation. They don't need encouragement. They don't need conditions to be perfect. They show up every single day, driven by an obsession that refuses to die. That obsession is what forges greatness. The relentless don't care about feelings. Feelings say stop. Feelings say rest. Feelings say you've done enough. The relentless ignore feelings and follow discipline. They know that the body will quit long before the mind has to. They know that the comfort zone is a death trap. They know that growth only happens when you keep pushing after your limits scream. That's why they are rare. Because being relentless hurts. It demands sacrifice, pain, isolation, and struggle. But it's also why they succeed, because nobody else is willing to endure it. Relentlessness is a mindset. It's not about what you do once, it's about what you do repeatedly, without compromise until the goal is achieved. It's about getting knocked down 10 times and standing up 11. It's about facing failure and still choosing to keep going. Most people see failure as the end. The relentless see it as feedback, as proof they're in the fight, as one step closer to victory. Failure does not break the relentless, it fuels them. They learn, they adapt, they keep striking until the wall cracks. That's why they win. The greatness does not happen overnight. It's not a single victory, not one breakthrough moment. It's the result of thousands of small, relentless acts stacked over time. While most people are distracted, the relentless are working. While most are celebrating too early, The relentless are preparing for the next battle. While most are quitting, the relentless are just beginning. That's the secret. Relentlessness outlasts talent. It outlasts luck. It outlasts excuses. Time favors the relentless because while others burn out, they remain. Look at history. Every name remembered, every figure admired, every legend we speak of, they were relentless. They faced rejection, defeat, failure, and pain that would have broken ordinary people. But they refused to break. They refused to stop. That's why we remember them. That's why they stand apart from the forgotten millions who quit. Greatness belongs only to the relentless because they are the only ones willing to endure the path required to reach it. Relentlessness also requires vision. You cannot keep going without a reason that burns inside you. The relentless are not chasing comfort. They're chasing destiny. They know what they want so deeply that nothing can shake them. That vision becomes their compass in the darkest times. It drives them when motivation is gone, when strength fades, when hope seems impossible. The relentless don't quit because their vision is greater than their pain. And here's the brutal truth. If you are not relentless, you will never be great. You might be good, you might be average, you might be forgotten, but greatness will never be yours. The path is too hard for the weak, too long for the lazy, too painful for the soft. Only the relentless survive it. Only the relentless thrive in it. That is why greatness is so rare, because relentlessness is so rare. So ask yourself, are you relentless? Or do you quit when it gets hard? Do you push through when you fail? Or do you hide behind excuses? Do you keep going when no one is watching? Or do you only act when it's convenient? Your answers will determine your destiny. Because greatness isn't about luck or talent or chance. It's about refusing to quit no matter what. Leader, at the end of your life, you will not be remembered for what you started. You will be remembered for what you finished. And finishing belongs only to the relentless. So be relentless. Refuse to quit. Refuse to break. Refuse to stop until greatness is yours. And now we arrive at the truth you can no longer ignore. Your time is limited. Excuses destroy your progress. Success demands sacrifice and discipline. Nobody is coming to save you, and greatness belongs only to the relentless. Life is not waiting for you. The clock is moving. Your opportunities are shrinking, and every second you hesitate is a second stolen from your future. You must choose. Remain in the comfort of mediocrity or rise into the fire of discipline and sacrifice. You must stop lying to yourself. Stop waiting for a miracle. Stop hoping for rescue and finally act. Act with urgency. Act with clarity. Act with the conviction that this is your one shot and you will not waste it. Relentlessness is not optional. It is survival. It is the only path to freedom, to success, to the life you know deep down belongs to you. One day the clock will stop and you will either stand proud of what you built or drown in regret for what you never tried. The choice is yours. But remember this, greatness does not wait and time will not forgive. Be relentless now or be forgotten forever.